concerned with how they are as a player, but we'll get into that. So for tiers we have our captain, leader, legend. Leader, solid captain, unconvincing, and strip the armband. Someone who I think should not be captain for their club. So in terms of how I judge a captain, for me, I think, of course, the first, criteria is leadership. How do you lead your pit? How do you lead the pitch? How do you lead your team? But that's, in many aspects, how do you lead when you are in adversity? That's a big one for me. When the chips are down, when your team is down, how do you perform? How are you trying to lift the team morale when maybe things aren't going your way? How do you keep morale high when things are going your way? How do you perform in those big moments as well? Do you step up for your team when they need it? Or do you, on your individual performance, maybe have poor games in those big moments? Or sometimes you let your team down? Are you vocal? Do you lead by example? All these sorts of things I will take into account. I'm not an expert on every team and every captain, but I'll try to give my insights. So give me a comment about your captain and where you would put them in these tiers, even if they're not in the Prem. Whoever the captain of your club is, where would you put them in this tier? Let me know. Let's begin. So, they are in no particular order. We have Neto. Neto is the captain for Bournemouth. So Neto, the goalkeeper. Now, this is the thing. He's actually the only goalkeeper on this tier list, and I'm not necessarily a fan of goalkeepers being captains because I feel like, when the ref needs to talk to the captain and it's the goalie, they're gonna have to run all the way over. That's just not gonna happen. Or when your team, when the chips are down, when your team is like a 1-0 down, I'm looking for your captain to say, okay, give me the ball. Goalie can't really do that, so already he's kind of off to a bad start, which isn't really his fault. Now, it's an interesting one, Neto as captain, because he doesn't strike me necessarily as a huge leader. When I watch him, he does talk a bit, but he's not someone who's like, I guess like a Neuer, for example, presence that by him where, you could tell this guy's a leader, but he's probably the most experienced guy in that Bournemouth team. He's been around at the top clubs like Barcelona, Juventus, so I don't know. I think he's a bit unconvincing for me, only because he is a goalie. To be honest, he's probably solid, but just because I don't really like goalies as captains, I'm gonna say he's unconvincing. As a captain, if he was captain of my team, I think I'd be fine with that, but I wouldn't be like ready to run in the trenches for him, if you get what I mean. But to be fair, I think it's probably a sensible choice him as captain in that Bournemouth team because it is a kind of young team and inexperienced team, and he's one of the senior guys. John McGinn. John McGinn is captain of Aston Villa. This is interesting. I think now it was Tyrone Mings, but Tyrone Mings got stripped away by Steven Gerrard. Now for me, I would actually say Tyrone Mings. I would rather him as captain than John McGinn. But that's not gonna say I'm gonna strip the armband off McGinn because I think he's fine. I think he's perfectly fine as a captain. They've done pretty well with him. He is one of those who I think leads by example. He will give 110% when he's out on that pitch. He'll never doubt tools. He will run his heart off, and he'll step up with some big goals as well. So you know what? I think it's a solid captain. I think he's a solid captain for Villa. Martin Odegaard. Okay. This is an interesting one as well. Odegaard for me. I'm gonna put Odegaard in leader. I think he is score. Again, it gives 110%, always pressing, never down tools. When your team is down, he's come up with some big goals, important performances, one of Arsenal's best players. He also talks as well. He's a vocal leader. So yeah, he's definitely a leader. Captain, leader, legend. I don't know about that. I don't know. I think we'll come back to that. Potentially, he could go into that tier looking at the rest of them, because I have to put someone in that tier. So potentially, but he's definitely a leader. Jamal Lascelles is the Newcastle captain. Now, to be honest, Kieran Trippier is the main captain because Lascelles isn't always a regular starter, but Lascelles is the club captain. When he plays, is of course captain. I don't know about Lascelles. I think definitely gives his all, gives 110%. Been there a while, very experienced, vocal leader. Does give that presence, and I think is a good talker on the pitch. But if I'm being real, this isn't necessarily because he's a bad captain. I think he's fine as a captain, but I think your captain needs to be a regular starter in your side. So I think Kieran Trippier should be the captain, and I think Lascelles, for me, I would strip him of the armband. At the start of the season, I would have given it to Kieran Trippier instead of Lascelles. I understand why they've let him have it. As I said, I think he's a perfectly fine leader, but for me, the captain needs to be starting regularly, and Kieran Trippier, for me, I see as the captain of that team, not Lascelles. Kurt Zouma. So Kurt Zouma was appointed West Ham captain this season after Rice left. A bit of a surprise pick, to be honest. I didn't really expect that. I don't really see Kurt Zouma like a leader like that. From his time at Chelsea, I don't really see it. But I think it's one of those where everyone in the dressing room likes him. Really, really experienced player compared to the other West Ham players. I think it's a bit too soon to say strip the armband because he's only just got it, so maybe give this guy some time. And again, I'm looking at West Ham's team. I'm not sure, maybe Ward-Prowse, but he's only just joined. So I'm going to say unconvincing just because he's not really had much time on the job yet as captain. And yeah, he doesn't really strike me too much as a leader when I watch him play. John Egan is captain of Sheffield United. He has been there for a very, very long time. Was he? I don't know. I don't think he was captain when they were in the Prem, was he? Then that was Billy Sharp potentially, but he's definitely a vocal leader. Leads by example, will give his all for the club and the badge. You know what? I think he's a leader. I think John Egan is definitely a leader. Definitely a leader in that Sheffield team, very experienced, one of their better players as well. I know they've been struggling this season, but he has been there for a while and has been a heartbeat of that Sheffield United side. I mean, he hasn't really led them to much this season, but I don't think that's all his fault, to be honest. Tom Lockyer's Luton captain. You know what, I'm going to actually put him in as leader as well, purely for the fact that, again, I'm pretty sure he was captain last year. He was captain to lead them to promotion. You've got to be a leader there. And then from his performances in the Prem as well, they have been really, really good. He's come up with a couple goals as well, which is really, really nice. And yeah, I think he's a solid leader. You can really tell when you watch Luton, he is someone who he won't shy away from a ball. He's ready to get stuck in and he'll give his all for Luton. I think he definitely is a leader, and you saw it. He's definitely loved by the Luton players because in that playoff final, semi-final, when he went to hospital, they're all celebrating with his shirt and they really clearly like him. So I think he's a leader. Christian Norgard is captain for Brentford, obviously because Ivan Toney has he doesn't really. I don't know. I don't really see him as a leader. I think he's more of a lead by example type. I think he is one of those who will give 110%, get stuck into challenges and give his all. But I don't really see Norgard the shouting type of guy who will tell players where to go, etc. I do see Ivan Toney as the captain of that team, but I understand why they've given it to Norgard, so I'm going to put him in unconvincing for me. Bruno Fernandes. Now this one's interesting. It's going to be very divisive, some of this. I know a lot of people have different opinions on him as captain of Man United. So he was captain because of Maguire being stripped of it under Ten Hag, and Bruno Fernandes came in as captain. And for me, I don't see him as a captain or a leader, but I'm not sure who I actually do see as captain or leader in that Man United team, which is a bit worrying if you're a United fan. I'm looking at him like, maybe Varane and Casemiro because their experience, maybe, I don't know, Rashford because he's a Manchester boy, but he's not really a leader as well. So for me, even though I think Bruno should be in the strip armband because, in those big moments he's always complaining, he's always whining, he's downing tools, he doesn't drag back sometimes. And if I'm playing a game and I'm losing a game, he is the player out of all of his list which I don't want to be my captain, because when you're losing a game, you look to your captain, you look for inspiration. And most of the time when they go 1 or 2-0 down United, you look up at your captain and you see Bruno and he's just there sulking, throwing his hands in the air, complaining, trying to, get a red card, trying to stick some challenge on someone. Not a good look. However, I can't really put him in strip armband because, to be honest, he's probably the best captain they've got, which is a bit worrying, so I guess he's going in unconvincing. Joe Worrell is Forest captain. I think Worrell was solid. I think he's solid as captain. Definitely been at Forest for quite a while now, been at the heart of their defence. Definitely a shouting type, will get stuck in, will give his all for the badge. I mean, sometimes can have a bit of dodgy performances, I've seen him have them here and there, but he'll always give it his all, and I think he's solid. Max Kilman. So Max Kilman is Wolves captain after Ruben Neves left in the summer. For me, unconvincing, kind of similar to Kurt Zuma in a way that, he hasn't really been in that role for long, but he never really struck me as the captain material. I'm surprised Craig Dawson isn't captain. In fact, I would have given it to Craig Dawson, so you know what? I'm going to strip the armband, nothing against Max Gilman, but I think Dawson is much more of a leader in that team, and I would say he's probably the captain on that side, not Gilman. But I understand why they're doing it, because Gilman's going to be there for a while. Reece James is captain of Chelsea again, newly appointed in the summer. Now, I'm going to put him in unconvincing again, only just being appointed captain in the summer. But the problem with Reece James is he's never on the pitch, he's always injured, so it's a bit annoying him as captain, and that's a real blemish on him. To be honest, I would put him in strict armband for that, but again, similar to Man United, I'm not entirely sure who he would give that captain armband to in that Chelsea side. Conor Gallagher, not really. Ben Chilwell, so that's why I'm going to put him in unconvincing, although I don't really think he's a good captain because he's never on the pitch, because he's always injured. Jack Cork is captain for Burnley, and kind of similar to Lascelles in a way. I'm going to strip the armband off him. He is definitely the most experienced guy in that Burnley side. However, actually, you know what? I'm going to put him unconvincing. Again, similar to Reece James and Bruno, I'm thinking about it now. That Burnley side is a very young team, and I don't really know who you would give the captain armband to besides Jack Cork. Very experienced player. Been around for a long time, even though, you know, he was maybe not starting every single minute of every single game. He's very experienced, and as I said, I'm not sure who you would actually give that captain armband to in that Burnley side, so unconvincing. Joe Ward is captain of Crystal Palace. I'm going to strip the armband. Of Joe Ward again. I understand why he's got it. I understand, you know, he's been there for a long time, like forever now, and he's still starting in the side, which is very impressive. However, for me, you know, I think Joachim Andersen potentially is a bit more of a leader than him. I would give it to him. He gives me a bit more leader vibes than Joe Ward. I think Joe Ward has got it simply because he's been around for a long time. He's a Palace boy through and through, in a way, and you know, great servant to the club, but he doesn't really strike me as the leader type. I guess he's a leader by example. I do just feel that Joachim Andersen is a bit more of a leader for me in that team, so I would rather give it to him. But nothing against Joel Ward, he's fine. Seamus Coleman of Everton. Ooh, this one's interesting because if we're basing it off his career, I guess he's captain, leader, legend. But this is based on right now, and right now is Seamus Coleman captain, leader, legend for Everton. You know, he's not always in the side. He has played a fair bit this season, but his performances, what happened there? His performances are starting to wane a little bit. They're getting worse. But you know what? I'm going to keep him there, captain, leader, legend. He gives his absolute all for Everton. He clearly loves the club. Been captain for so long. And you know, when the chips are down, he will step up. You will see him shouting, trying to galvanise the boys, inspiring players, help the youngsters. I think he's definitely a captain, leader, legend in my opinion. Kevin De Bruyne. So Kevin De Bruyne is Man City captain after Gundogan left. He was appointed it, but I mean he's been injured for the whole season, so hasn't actually been able to have that captain's armband for very long. And for me, I would actually strip the armband. For me, Kevin De Bruyne isn't a leader, and I think there's other leaders in that side. I think Ruben Diaz, for me, is the leader of that Man City side. I see Rodri a bit more as a leader than De Bruyne. So, yeah, Carl Walker, I don't know. De Bruyne definitely leads by example, but De Bruyne, you know, he kind of has that Bruno aspect to him where sometimes you'll see him whining around on the pitch, moaning, complaining, and he's also got that Reece James aspect of he's never fit. You can't rely on him for a whole season to be playing every minute of every game, so you want your captain to be playing every day, week in, week out on that pitch, and he's not on the pitch, so I would rather give it to someone like Ruben Diaz or Rodri than Kevin De Bruyne. Tom Kenny. So Tom Kenny is Fulham captain. I mean, he's kind of in the Lascelles mould in terms of he's captain because he's been there for so long, but and he's been captain ever since really he's there, but realistically he's not really the captain. Tim Ream, I believe, is the actual captain of that side. Tom Kenny doesn't really play too much, he's a bit of a rotational guy, so I would strip the captaincy just based on that. Again, not because he's a bad leader or anything, just because you need your captain to be playing every single game really So I would give that captain armband to someone like Tim Ream, who is in that side a bit more regularly than Tom Kearney. Lewis Dunk. Lewis Dunk is a captain leader legend for sure for Brighton. Been there for so long. Loves the club, gives his all in every game. One of their best players as well. Shouts, leads by example, composed. He has it all for me as a captain at Brighton. I think he's a one club man. Like he's definitely a captain leader legend for me, Lewis Dunk. He will lead that Brighton side. Come up with some big goals as well when they need him to step up. When they need someone, they can turn to him, and he can produce something every now and then. So he's a leader for sure. Heung-min Son, another appointed in the summer. Now, even though he's only just been appointed, I would actually say Heung-min Son is solid. I think he's a solid captain. He's not a shouting captain or anything, but he is definitely a lead by example captain. He will, and one of those captains where he will drag his team because he's such a good player. You can, when the chips are down, I would say he's already done it a couple times this season. When you need a goal, get the ball to Son, get it to your captain, and it will say, "Listen, boys, I'll show you how it's done. I'll step up for us, and I'll grab you a goal." Done it a couple times, like for example against Arsenal, etc. I don't think he's necessarily, like that shouting type of captain, but he's definitely one where you can turn to him when you need him. Really encouraging as well. Nice guy in terms of he's gonna comfort and encourage some of the young boys. I've already seen it so far. Really helps players like Richarlison, for example. So I think so far he's done a solid job and he's a solid captain. And finally, Virgil van Dijk, again, just appointed Liverpool captain. I think Virgil's a leader. I do think Virgil's a leader. He has been a leader for quite a while at Liverpool, ever since he's really joined, marshalling that defence, always talking, always chatting, always commanding players where they should be, etc. Helping players out. Never really puts a foot wrong as well. Steps up with some big goals. Yeah, he's definitely a leader for sure. So that is my tier list. For me, the best captain then in the Premier League, I would actually go for Lewis Dunk. Simply because Lewis Dunk is starting week out, and one of Brighton's best players compared to James Conway. Maybe isn't at this stage of his career one of the best players at Everton. But those are just my thoughts on the Premier League captains. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. And if you have enjoyed, please leave a like. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you in another video.